Hey, I've mentioned before that when I have my time alone each morning with God, that I use the U version, which is a Bible app. And if you have not downloaded that to your phone or tablet yet, I highly recommend it. And as part of my quiet time, I do my reading. I have a reading plan I'm following. And then I take time to see what my friends have highlighted, what they're reading and what they're highlighting. And I think I've mentioned before, it never fails to encourage me. Well, this past week, Nick Creamer, I was watching what he had highlighted. And by the way, if you don't know Nick and Jessica Creamer from the MCC family, I'll tell you what, you're missing out. You need to meet them. Nick has been reading recently out of the Message version, and he highlighted a passage out of 1 Peter 4, and I wanted to share that with you this morning. So this is 1 Peter 4, 7 to 11 out of the Message version. Nick highlighted, everything in the world is about to be wrapped up, so take nothing for granted. Stay wide awake in prayer. Most of all, love each other as if your life depended on it. Love makes up for practically anything. That, by the way, that last part was verse 8, which is one that I hold on to very tightly. You may recognize it worded this way a little bit more. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sins. And I think the reason I hang on to that verse in particular is because in my friendships, I know it's been our love for each other that has helped my friends overlook, work through, help me get over the bad decisions I've made and just the plain stupidity in my life. And so I appreciate that. But back to what Nick highlighted. Love makes up for practically anything. Be quick to give a meal to the hungry, a bed to the homeless, cheerfully. Be generous with the different things that God has given you, passing them around so that all get in on it. If it's words, then let it be God's words. If it's help, let it be God's hearty help. That way, God's bright presence will be evident in everything through Jesus, and He'll get all the credit as the one mighty in everything, on course to the end. Listen, we're in this series where we're talking about how to live generously, which, by the way, is why I'm in this room. This is the resource room for our Next Gen ministries. And it just reminds me of how creative people are in their teaching of our children and students, right? They're being generous in their creativity because they use these items to help them be great about being teachers with our Next Gen. I just appreciate that so much. But this past week, I talked about how to live generously financially. And when it comes to finances, I shared Sunday about how we've seen that lived out during this COVID time. And even if you heard it, I think it bears repeating. Listen, at MCC, we got to be part of delivering 60,000 meals to students in the Miamisburg school system. That was from about mid-March to maybe early mid-May. And that's 60,000 meals. We were able to, there's a family who their income had dropped severely during this time, and we were able to help them make a car payment, which kept them quite likely from losing their car. We were able to deliver food to a family that was living in a hotel, one of the meals that we delivered, and we were able to help them with a month's rent. We bought and installed an alternator for a single mom. We were able to help pay electric bills for a couple families. We have bought several prescriptions for several people. We have spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on groceries and diapers. We helped people with rent. We bought specific supplies for different ministry partners here in our community. I actually had somebody stop by my house and say, I want to help people in our community who are struggling during this time, so use this money for that. I had someone call me late one night, and for us older adults, that means after 9 o'clock, right? Someone called me late one night and said, I've got some money I want to send to you, and all I care is that it helps somebody in our community. That's my only stipulation, someone in our community. I didn't even think to count the number of people who have said to me, hey, I trust the leaders of our church. Here is money. Use it however you see fit. It just needs to help somebody and help somebody in our community. I just want to say that this is one of the reasons I love MCC so much. You just can't help yourself. Last week, someone at MCC turned 90. And so their friend said, gosh, we should celebrate them by sending them 90 birthday cards. And, you know, I had to be a part of that. Financial generosity doesn't have to cost a lot. But I love that my friend was celebrated with 90 birthday cards. Listen, I want to encourage you today. Continue to look for ways to be generous, because being generous is not merely something we do. It's actually who we are. We, as Jesus followers, live generously. So find at least one way today, at least one, to live generously in someone else's life so that you can reflect the love of Jesus to them.